I recently listened to this episode from the Deep Dive podcast, Ali Abdal's podcast, and I haven't listened to all the episodes. Some of them I'm like, but this one about happiness, it was it was really good. It was a guy named Mo Gadot, and the cool thing with Mo is, well, really sad actually. His son, when he was about 21, got an appendicitis, and they the doctors kind of messed up on the operation, and it was a simple operation, and his son Ali actually died, and this really touched me, and I knew this interview was something I needed to watch because when I was 10 years old, I had the exact same thing happen. I actually had my appendix burst, so like probably even worse. But my doctor somehow, I don't know, and I remember that night, one of those nights I was by myself in the hospital saying, God, I'm 10 years old. I've lived a good life, and I stayed. I stayed on Earth, and I kept going. It just really hit me like how wonderful it is and how special it is to be here on this earth and to be able to do things. And Mo really impressed me because even though he's had the struggles and stuff, and he said the pain doesn't really go away, he still finds happiness and joy in his life. And it really just reminded me that joy and happiness, they're choices that we can make each day regardless of our circumstances. And this is a quote from the episode that I just really wanted to highlight and expound on really quick for this Dallin's Quick Thoughts episode. Life is an infinite game. The finite bit of it is when you die and can no longer play. That's it. As long as you're in this game, your target is what? To play. Interesting, huh? It's not to achieve anything. If you remove the target, suddenly everything becomes okay. So there's some stuff in here. One thing that we need to get quickly out of the way is that I believe when we die, we move on and there's other good things that we do. And so it's not like we just end up in a rock and we have an eternal game over screen. I don't believe that God would give us that. I don't believe anybody that is super loving would give that for an ending, but I believe in everlasting beginnings, right? And then when it says your goal is to play, not to achieve anything, I mean, yes, it's good to have expectations that are healthy, but I do believe we are here to like learn, grow, get experience, and there is a very real reason why we're all here. Why would we be here if there wasn't a reason? I don't understand. I can't see how that would make sense, but it just makes me think though, like if you remove the target and you just kind of live life, then you can learn and grow, and there's a little bit of peace. There's peace with that. He talked about how like happiness in his eyes is when you have it's events minus expectations. So like if you expected something really amazing to happen and it didn't happen, then you probably won't be as happy. And he talked about this in terms of like writing his books. He's written like he said he writes 2.5 times more books than what he actually publishes. And that really kind of stood out to me. He's like, I just love writing. I just love the fact of getting something down on paper, and I could resonate with that. I'm like, dude, I'm 100% with you there. It doesn't have to be this big thing. It's just I just want to do it. I just want to get it out there. And life really is an infinite game. Remember that. Like the abundance mentality, like choose to put yourself out there. Like we're all so much more capable than we realize. And whenever we sell ourselves short, we are really just selling ourselves short. It's just like with any video game or something, characters, the main characters and stuff, they have so much potential and stuff, but it really comes down to the person as they get more experience, since they learn how to control that character to use those skills. Once you've learned a skill, I mean, you kind of have it down with a lot of things. I mean, you have to keep practicing it. Like tie my shoes. Like I tie my shoes all the time, but if I stop tying my shoes, maybe I would forget. I don't know. But I hope you won't forget that life is an infinite game. And when we get stuck or we're struggling or anything like that, that we can remember that, and we can remember that a lot of the goal really is to play and to keep learning and keep trying. And you see that with a game called Celeste. He talked about Pac-Man. It's true with Pac-Man. It's true with a lot of things. It's definitely true with life. And it's easy when you mess up big time, or you really think you've ruined things, like those people that shoot for the NFL and then they get an injury or something. It's important to remember that life is an infinite game, and that there's a revolving door and new opportunities are just around the corner. So, those are my quick thoughts, and I'll have a link to the podcast episode that I talked about in the show notes. It really got me thinking and really humbled me. There's a lot about happiness that I resonated with. Not all of it I thought was super like great, but that's okay. Overall, it was a solid episode, and I'm really glad I listened to it. I think it'd be worth your guys' time too. And yeah, so hang in there, keep going, and that's all I got. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to heal today, and it'll be a better tomorrow. Goodbye.